after yesterday, I feel as though I wouldn't want to like ban this deck yet. I think that I want to see if there's any like legitimate strategies, you know? To beating it.
Yeah. So I mean, I definitely think that over the course of the next week, we're going to see a lot of it, just from people either taking a deep dive into it to try to figure out how to defeat it, or just playing it because they want to meme on people and love seeing things that are on fire.
Right.
Demagogue saying, "Let's trade well." Yeah, this is a trading on the Sand Roads deck, so.
Is he going pure mill here, or
no? I don't know why he's on trading on the Sand Roads, other than it's Demagogue, right?
Yeah,
So
I mean,
definitely a lot of like Demagogue special cards in here. He's on Mono no Aware. He's on the Emperor. He's on trading on the Sand Roads.
How are you?
Yeah.
Gosh, asking me to go to Kaiko's game. I'm not going to go to the Enlightenment Mirror.
Oh, that sounds awful. I think that what's his face is going to do that one, right?
Yeah, I think Finbar is going to have it. So, if you want to see it, you can go over to Finbar's stream maybe. Okay. Although maybe he's also avoiding it like
no,
play
it
too.
happened before.
Yeah. Right. I think she's going to start speaking with someone. Would you? Should I get off?
What's up?
Nothing. It's love this Smurf human bot. That is a good Smurf name. Whoever Smurfed that. Good job.
I mean, it could also just be a person.
Could. It's definitely a human, right?
It could be a bot too. All right, so Zarzuckett running Suma. This is a change from his previous deck list. I guess when you are running a kill deck, you might as well just go ahead and try to get
as much honor as you can. Yeah, I think that's a smart idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna unmute myself.
Okay. So trading on the Sand Roads here, so we get to see Calling in Favors, Hige Sermon, Spies of Court, Mono no Aware. Meanwhile, for Zarzuckett, we have Gossip, Double Way of the Crane, and Duel to the Death. So Zarzuckett's going to go ahead and Gossip, so that way, I guess he's going to do it on Hige Sermon. Although Hige Sermon, I think, is what? During the draw phase.
It's draw phase only, yeah. So it's not gonna super matter here. Oh, assassination. I think that's smart.
Yeah. So Zarzuckett's deck is pretty dead for Demagogue here, or at least the stuff that he found on the Sand Road.
He's just not going to defend this. Yeah, Assume that he's just going to display a power, right?
Most likely, yes. Although it is an air ring, so maybe he just doesn't really care about that much.
Well, there's two keepers.
Oh, he's Keeper of Earth. Oh, you mean for Zarzuckett? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I would go ahead and display this. Although he would have had to open display in his opening hand.
Yeah.
He probably just hard moles for that, right?
Manufacturer.
Most likely, although Zarzuckett does have voice on. Looks like there's no display of power here. So just gonna have to deal with the two keepers coming into play.
It's really strong. Can you play Spies of Court here? You can, right? From trading on the open sands?
He could.
I would have considered doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't. You know, you have the way the cranes that are going to die momentarily, right? So you might as well just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So testing on this Whisperer.
Yeah, you sort of have to protect Suma here, right? Because if you're running Suma, then it's like probably a large part of your strategy. Too much background noise, by the way, Dan. I can get off.
It's fine for right now.
Okay.
I'll let you know if it gets excessive.
Yeah, cool. I appreciate that.
Okay, so Demagogue is just going to pass through this conflict opportunity.
Their blueberry cheesecake
Yeah.
looked really good.
So let's see where Zarzuckett goes next. Showing currently 3 skill on board. Sorry, 4.
Wow.
It was really fun. It wasn't hard.
Suma, Station, and Pledge. That is actually really intense. Travis, did you look at his list or did you play him yesterday?
It's only like a or
Let's see. I can pull up the list right now, actually.
Yeah.
While we're sort of between conflicts.
This is a really slow start for Demagogue and a really good actually start for Oh, you played him yesterday, yeah.
So good. Turned out really well. Was it easy?
Oh wow, that sounds really tough actually. I'm gonna go on mute for a second.
Okay. Alright, so well, he's not on Magistrate Station. He can't be on Magistrate Station because of Mark of Shame, right? So he is on Suma. Upholding Authority, Shameful, and Kazeno Kami. He's also on Wealth of the Crane here too, so I want to see this card get played. See exactly how crazy it can be. Travis. This is interesting. You're saying he played Magistrate Station yesterday? Oh, it was Nick Mason, okay. Alright, so Demagogue's hand was mega dead in that situation. So he had 2 waning hostilities and a Miyako, none of which are particularly useful. He does not have the favor, so this Emperor is also useless. We're gonna see
But he does have this dispatch to get rid of this. Man, this Mega Yoshi is going to be really strong.
Yeah, so we kill the Whisperer. That's kind of whatever. If he has the voice, then he does it now.
Yeah. Okay. Mute myself again.
And so yeah, so we are going to see voice here to go ahead and cancel that dispatch. So trade voice for a fate there. Seems okay. Also trades it for an honored attacker. If you draw another voice, that could be pretty useful. And so I think Demagogue here probably has to just buy this Fawning Diplomat. Need to get the favor somehow. And probably need to protect this Hante. If you can. Although it's probably just going to get broken here. So we do see the Fawning Diplomat come out. And we saw Kuan on bot instead of Yoshi, so I guess Yoshi not at critical mass yet. You don't really need the Dishonor effect with only, with this bad thing on the board and only one other character. So here's another trading on the Sand Road, so let's see what happens here. We see Mark of Shame, Noble Sacrifice, SBR, and Gossip come out for Zarzuckett. Meanwhile, 2 backhanded compliments for Demagogue. This is not... this is really, really bad for Demagogue. So Demagogue is first player, so you can go ahead and play some of this. You might want to go ahead and I don't know. Actually, since Demagogue is first player, both Mark of Shame and Soul Beyond Reproach are kind of undesirable options, right? You want to be the second person doing whichever is the counter one. So like if you're going to SBR somebody, then you want to be second player, so you can go ahead and use that Mark of Shame to bring him back down. On the flip side, if you're the person who wants to use the Mark of Shame, then you run the risk of the other person just using the SBR. So Demagogue's actually just going to go ahead and Gossip and name SBR here. So I think here's Demagogue can also go ahead and Mark a Shame on Kuanon. Alright, so Arash I think is going to have to go ahead and drop out for the time being. Alright, so Zarzuckett actually going to go ahead and play the Mark of Shame on the Fawning Diplomat. So Noble Sacrifice is alive here. What we could see is Zarzuckett go for the Noble Sac this turn, just so that way the favor is claimed now and not at the end of turn. And that way Zarzuckett can hold on to the favor instead. Now, what Demagogue can go ahead and do, though, is just go ahead and SBR himself on this Fawning Diplomat. It's certainly not the most optimal of plays, but if your goal is to acquire the favor, get this Emperor online, then you really need to think about doing that. Okay, so it looks like Demagogue is trying to play SBR, but it's not working. I guess this must be a bug, right? Because if you gossip and the SBR belongs to Zarzuckett and you're trying to play Zarzuckett's SBR, then it's not working. Luckily, Zarzuckett is one of the Jigoku coders, so you can go ahead and fix this after the fact. So we'll say that Demagogue has now used SBR. Zarzuckett going to go ahead and play that Goblin Sneak that Demagogue had. You're saying he has to Noble Sacrifice, or Demagogue will do it to Kuanon. No. The bug is probably because the card belongs to Zarzuckett still. And Gossip Pride, as blanket says, cards belonging to this person cannot be played. If I had to guess. That's my guess. So I guess curious point here, if you are Demagogue, do you go ahead and use these backhanded compliments since they're not going to be able to be used later anyway? I think you might as well just go ahead and use them on yourself. And that way you just go ahead and draw a couple cards. I think in a situation where you're not going to kill your opponent, you probably don't want to go ahead and use it on them. Okay, so Zarzuckett actually going to go ahead and use it on himself. Demagogue might want to go ahead and consider doing the same before Zarzuckett does it. Okay, yeah, so he's going to go ahead and do that now too. Pass here, and I can't imagine that Demagogue has anything else to play here. So we see a pass from Zarzuckett. Alright, so we see an assassination attempt on the Doji Whisperer, and a Defender Honor comes out, and Demagogue actually bids to win this. So he's going to go ahead and assassinate the Doji Whisperer. Now he's going to dishonor Kuanon, which means that he's going to actually be able to get this Noble Sacrifice off, which is pretty solid. So I could say kill on my own deck. Yep, that is the ultimate betrayal right there. So Demagogue does have the favor here, but unlikely that he holds on to it through next turn, just because these keepers are probably going to sit there and stick around for a little while. We're going to see a Void Conflict here to go ahead and void off this Master Whisperer. Not much Demagogue can do here, other than unless he drew something. So Demagogue is going to go ahead and use his last backhanded compliment on himself to go ahead and draw a card. So Dishonor kind of out of the picture now, which is good for Zarzuckett because now, you know, that's definitely one less thing he has to worry about. And meanwhile, Demagogue has to worry. Looks like he didn't find anything from that. All right, Demagogue does find a Slovenly Scavenger, so he'll be able to go in on military here. But these keepers are going to be staunch defenders. He does have the favor now, so that means that if he attacks Suma here, even if Zarzuckett defends with both of these things, he's going to have at least one pump to get over the top and prevent this Slovenly Scavenger from going off. The Scavenger also allows Demagogue to reshuffle all of his backhanded compliments back into his deck. So no defense here from Zarzuckett. I guess he just wants to make sure that he maintains the favor, and so Demagogue is going to go ahead and do his Master Whisperer thing now. Discards a Censure, draws 3 cards. Goes Earth. Oh, actually, Demagogue got Keepers, so actually, that I forgot about that. That worked out super well for him. So pretty slick stuff. Demagogue now going to go ahead and defend. This airing attack, even if he loses it, it's not the worst thing in the world. But he does have a court games that he found, and he's going to dishonor the keeper. And that'll win him the conflict. That also drains Zarzuckett by 1 honor. So some crafty lines of play there for sure for Demagogue. Somehow managed to spend 1 million resources and then get them all back. Thanks to the power of trading on the sand roads. And so now, with the favor, that means Hante is online for Demagogue. Let's see if he buys Hante or if he buys Shoju here. There are 3 Yoshis, and we're actually just going to see Season of War, so never mind, that's not going to happen. So now Yoshi is dead. The Emperor is partially dead. And the only dynasty buy for Demagogue now is Shoju. He's going to buy Shoju here on to Fate. If you're Demagogue, I consider passing here. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and pass. And we actually get to see a punt? What happened? Sure, yeah, and if he's down for it, I'll go ahead and give him a call. Alright, so, Demagogue not totally dead. But this is certainly not a great position to be in, especially, you know, with, with a bunch of military dudes and Zarzuckett being first player. He can just go ahead and attack military air here. So, it's certainly a way to die, is through the power of misclicking, but one of the big problems is that it's really hard to you know, go back and correct this manually. Like, if it was just a normal honor exchange, then that would be a different situation. But yeah. The big problem is that you would have to put the cards back into your deck and then reshuffle, but then there's no way to actually tell. All right, like what was the real card? What was the not real card? So still a semi-fighting chance here for Demagogue. He gets to do this shameful display here. So it's like it doesn't really have any cards in his hand, so. Maybe attacking into Shameful was not the best idea, as he's saying in chat. So we are going to see Miyako here, which is going to dishonor the Dazzling Duelist. Okay, so he chooses to actually dishonor the Goblin Sneak. I guess that's fine. And yeah, actually, that works out pretty well for Demagogue. Since the Dazzling Duelist can just duel and re-honor itself, right? So you don't want to go ahead and enable that if possible. And so Zarzuckett saying he messed it up so bad. So yeah, I guess one mistake begets another, right? So it's only fair. Zarzuckett going to go ahead and pass here. He loses an honor from the unopposed conflict with Shoju. Zarzuckett on no fate too, so you can't play a conflict character. The only thing you can really do here is just watch himself die. And so Zarzuckett gonna have to pass. He's lamenting himself dying. Demagogue, I think, needs to go fire here. Just honor up this Miyako, just to get the honor buffer back. It's way too spooky. No, he's gonna go Void instead. Okay. So feeling confident. I guess you can keep yourself afloat really with Keeper Initiate and Miyako, and the box, right? Gonna put him at 3 honor for next turn, and then -1 from oh no. Okay, well, this is probably not what you want to run into, but you would have to break it at some point. And his hand is not particularly great. I think you go ahead and take the court games as Zarzuckett. Court games or censure, both are pretty good. Taking court games here would be, in fact, the last court games. So a pretty big decision point here for Zarzuckett. I mean, censure obviously very tempting. He chooses display of power. Okay. I guess that's fine. Although with you being second player, right, going into next turn, I feel like the display of power is not going to be super relevant, and it's really hard for Demagogue to not, or to just not block something. Okay, so lost paper shows up for Demagogue here, which lets him bow this challenger. And here's the Emperor. So Demagogue actually might be totally okay now. We're probably going to see him buy the Emperor and maybe this Liar too. So after what was almost a tragic a tragic death, Demagogue has definitely pulled this together, and yeah, Zarzuckett definitely kicking himself in the head because he really needed to go ahead and just not attack, possibly Shameful. He hit the one thing that could have killed him, and that was sort of the death of him there. But not over for Zarzuckett yet. He can still claw back into this for sure, although it is going to be an uphill battle with both Shoju and the Emperor on the board. What this does mean is that Demagogue doesn't have any people to defend, but... Okay, well, Demagogue can defend on political, but military attack he's wide open to, so I think that Demagogue will save his Emperor bow for the military attack if it happens. Okay, Demagogue this time correctly choosing to bid 1. Zarzuckett, I guess in a bit of desperation, goes ahead and bids 3 here. That's going to actually keep Demagogue alive here and probably put the game way in his favor now. So we already know that he reshuffled all of his backhanded compliments. And so Zarzuckett going down now to 4 honor. Demagogue also sitting at 4 honor too. Let's keep that in mind. But we all know that Scorpion is very resilient to being dishonored from this point. So first attack is going to be a poke here with Shoju and the Liar. Okay, so very aggressive attack. Going for Earth. Earth will get him the keepers. That'll be 3 keepers out. Shameful Display is hit here. That could be kind of bad. Although we do know that Censure is in hand for Zarzuckett, and also Noble Sacrifice. The Emperor can redirect the Noble Sacrifice, and if he tried to Noble Sacrifice Shoju, then he could just kill off his entire board. But instead, he's just going to redirect the Shameful to not honor the Doji Challenger, and that way he can go ahead and court games Shoju back up after having him dishonored. This way, the Liar also gives him an extra little honor buffer whenever he lose play. This is going to be a break on Shameful here, and actually, potentially, what we could see is Demagogue just win on Conquest. Both these characters are going to be bowed here. And I think if you want to not die on the military attack on your box, you go ahead and pull out the challenger and just save it to defend on your stronghold. Yeah, so that is what we're going to see Zarzuckett do here. Alright, and Duel to the Death is dead, which is not super relevant against Scorpion. They have so many dash politicals that it's hard to get yourself in a situation where you're going to kill off somebody with the Duel to the Death. But that should be both Duel to the Deaths here. A Miyako comes out for Zarzuckett to unbow and dishonor one of these keepers. So here comes the airing attack. And it's just going to be the challenger running into Secret Cache. That's going to let Demagogue find something that he wants. This is basically over. It seems heavily in Demagogue's favor currently, but I don't want to say anything yet because crazy stuff has happened in this game, and it's not over till it's over. Both players definitely at a very low honor total. Demagogue does have 2 emperors on the field. Technically, no. Shoju is not actually an emperor. He's just a regent. Okay, so we do see a defense from Demagogue here on air. If Zarzuckett does win this, then he's going to get the keepers. I think he has, how many keepers? 2 keepers. So that's pretty solid. Demagogue is going to get defend, and we're going to see a bow from Hante now. And so another keeper gets pulled in. And a pass from Zarzuckett. Okay, so Demagogue's going to win this air ring. Takes the air ring off the table. No keepers for Zarzuckett. Demagogue could attack here, potentially. But that's kind of a scary... Is he on Rebels? He's not on Rebels. He's on Kazunokami. But Kazunokami is the same effect as Rebels here, right? So if you attack into the box, and it's Kazunokami, then you get your Emperor bowed. You're probably not going to lose the favor after that, but I guess you would have to attack water here and also win the conflict to deny the ring from Zarzuckett, so that way he can't go and restand the challenger and have the Emperor killed. Although I guess your opponent can never have the favor with Shoju out, so I guess the Emperor is protected here? Is that how it works? So... No, he already redirected earlier with whatchamacallit, with the Shameful Display. So when Shoju's out, is there ever a moment where you have claimed the Imperial favor? I guess no. So it says if the opponent has the Imperial favor, discard this character, and Shoju says your opponent cannot have the Imperial favor. So. Alright, so Zarzuckett actually just going to go ahead and use the Kazunokami to bow the keeper instead. Since it was a military attack, he would have had to defend it, because otherwise he would have just gotten the ring. But here's a Miyako to come in. Dishonors the Doji Challenger. If Demagogue has like a Bonza or something like that, this could be the end of the game. Here comes Wealth of the Crane. So, this is going to be a free Wealth of the Crane, I think, right? I know, it costs 2. Or it costs 1. And so now we get to check and see if this if this is coded correctly. Alright, so here's a Kakita Dojo. Or 2 Kakita Dojos, another keeper, a favorable ground toe. Okay, so you don't put all 10 cards. It's just 1 card for each of your provinces. Alright, here's a bonsai on the Miyako. Kakita Dojo actually is going to allow Zarzuckett to get 1 extra skill here. Which is not quite enough. So you honor with Kyuden Kakita. Puts it up to 7-3. Demagogue needs 1 more skill after this elegant Tessin is played on Miyako. So, somewhat inefficient use of cards here, but you gotta do what you gotta do to stay alive. And there's a Calling of Favors to take the Tessin, and that should be it. So yeah, Zarzuckett's gonna go ahead and die here. After near-death misclick from Demagogue. Alright, so let me go ahead and update the brackets. Let me check and see who won this Enlightenment Mirror. Alright, so let's go ahead and check and see. It might actually still be... Oh, it is still going on. Okay. So we'll go ahead and hop in here, begrudgingly. The game, unsurprisingly, is still going on right now. And so players are at 4-2 on Honor. It looks like Kaiko is actually about to die. He's running out of Dynasty cards and only has 4 Honor left. Alright, so here's a conflict at the Water Ring. Kaiko is not out of Fate, so you can't play Enlightenment this turn. One display of power has already been played, so if he attacks here, he can't. Enlightenment. So the only way for him to actually survive here would be to go ahead and win the air ring somehow. What if they both simultaneously went to time? I guess it's possible, sure. Alright, here's Kaiko knowing the world. Not that it's going to matter very much. Okay, he's going to know the world with the air ring. But that doesn't really make a difference here because he's going to... Or actually, no, he's not dead yet because this card is going to flip up. Okay, here's the rest of the combo. Know the world. Wholeness of the world. He is still missing 2 shrines. Although I think that they are in the bin, so he can go ahead and rebuild them now. One's here. One's here. And then this is the last one. Oh, wait. Never mind. He somehow had all the rings already. Oh wait, no, he didn't. So he just did it to give himself honor here? Yeah, he gained 2 honor instead of dishonoring Medallia, but I guess it didn't matter here because Medallia could just prayers to Ibisu. This is so confusing. I don't know what the hell is going on. But it is something. So the game will continue. So enlightenment, the search for enlightenment goes on. So one problem though for Kaiko is that he now cannot win through enlightenment. And we're gonna see Season of War come out now for Medallia. So that goes ahead and mills Kaiko. So the tricky part for Kaiko now is because he doesn't have any enlightenments left. I think it's going to be very tough for him to win the game, and I think Medallia still has all 3 enlightenments in his hand. But for Medallia, also, anyway, all the shrines are still in his deck, and only 1 rebuild has been used so far. He is coming up on only 5 cards left in conflict, though, so I'm not sure how many copies of Prayers to Ibisu this deck runs. It runs 1. Okay, so the 1 copy has already been burned. So he's a rebuild to get the Bustling Academy back. Bustling Academy finds a secluded shrine here. The main question is, though, is how is Medallia going to get the last rings? So that's 1 ring. For each of them. Medalia's going to go ahead and play Enlightenment here. And I think it's actually going to be able to kill Kaiko now. Because you can just Enlightenment again and then do the airing again. And so yeah, so that's going to be it. So Dario Perry is going to be the one advancing into semifinals on the other side. And that's that's the Enlightenment mirror for you, I guess.